What's the worst thing you ever did as horny teenager? Fingered my then girlfriend in the backseat of her parents' car as we were driving home from her grandfather's funeral. IDK, who's more f-ked up, me or her? My BF and I scrounged up enough money for an hour at the local no-tell motel. Soon after, we realized I locked the keys in the car. We had no money and couldn't call anyone, so we broke a window out. Played dumb the next day when my parents saw my window. Back in the day, if your parents were home, there was nowhere in this town where you could bang. The cops patrolled every dead-end street and every nearly empty parking lot. So I got the bright idea to pull my car alongside other cars at a dealership lot and use that as a spot to bang in plain sight. Never got caught. But if they were checking the cameras, someone saw a lot. Used a can of dry shampoo to stir it with. Only I used the capped end. The lid came off and got stuck in my bag. Took ages to get it out as the edges of the cap were stuck behind the opening. I bled a little. That sounds funny and awful. However, at the first sentence I was trying to figure out how I could whack it, penis, with dry shampoo. F-ked a banana peel wrapped in duct tape. Then I flushed it down the toilet and it actually got stuck. Naturally, I was horrified that it would come back up as my dad was sitting there plunging the toilet trying to figure out why it was blocked up. Thankfully it ended up going through and I never had to explain why a duct tape banana peel was in the plumbing. Rubbed one out while riding a bicycle. I was on a long distance bike tour in rural Wisconsin. How the FCK? Wasn't me, but in swim class I saw a girl put her nether parts against one of those water jets. I did this as a kid, without realizing. My husband and I have been together since high school, and there was a rumor he got his penis stuck in a Gatorade bottle. He had to rip it off and thought he broke his penis. His friends would straight on rag on him. I think he confided in one and they told everyone. I never actually believed it, but a couple of years into marriage and he admits it was true. Edit. He was very adamant I clarify it was Gatorade and not Powerade. Edit 2. My highest rated comment by far now is about my husband sticking his penis in a bottle. Thanks everyone. He was very adamant I clarify it was Gatorade and not Powerade. Of course. The man has standards. My parents like traveling even though we don't have much money. We finally went to Washington DC, so we wanted to spend loads of time. That's exactly what the founding fathers created America for. Yeah, no. I thought I was a really horny teenager. Went off the trail at the Grand Canyon and wanked in the bushes. I used to jerk off in the living room whenever I felt like it. And to this day I don't know if anyone found out. Edit. I had a blanket over me and I made sure I wasn't sitting next to anyone. But they would walk by me every now and then and I had to stop. Orgasm 10 times with an electric toothbrush in a day. 9/10 dentist recommend. I jerked off in the empty apartment under mine when I was 17 and I thought that was risky. Stubbed 17 times in 24 hours. Edit. A few people asked. No, I wasn't taking anything and I'm a guy. Also thanks for the gold. The last 4 was just your whiner coughing up dust. Make a makeshift fleshlight. You get a glass and put 2 sponges in the glass with a rubber glove in between them. Then I put it in between my mattress and bed and f-ked it. Man. I was a horny F teenager. Preferred masturbation technique was to sit bounce on a pillow held vertically between my legs on my bed. Straddled humped my bedpost footboard. That one was a bad idea. Hardwood. Think I bruised my bits a couple times. Humped stuffed animals. Lubed my fingers with soap and put them up my butt. Bad idea. Fun at first. And then the stinging starts. Paintbrush equals makeshift DLDO. Heavy under the clothes petting at prom with my BF. They had like a photo booth thing set up in a room off the dance floor. But the worst was probably. Had a personal computer in my bedroom. Logged into this dumb little strip poker flash game that had a built-in chat room. Spent probably 6 to 8 hours masturbating cybering with anonymous people instead of sleeping. Got kind of dehydrated as the door was closed and, well, it's sweaty work. Had school the next day. Was dead on my feet. Found my parents' back massager with an attachment that cupped the head of my cock. Used that sometimes. Mum found out once or twice. And I'll never forget her saying, "I know it feels good. But twice? Not me, but a friend of mine swims up to me and another buddy at swim practice. "Hey guys. Have you ever whacked it and your balls hurt after? Nah man. You might wanna get that looked at." Yeah. I didn't think beating it that many times before practice would hurt. How many times? OIDK. Say. Do you guys have calluses on your dick? Around 16 years old. 16 years ago. Before handheld screens were a thing. I got drunk alone at my parents'. And printed off almost 50 pages of close-up vaginas. And plastered them all over the bathroom wall with thumbtacks. After an awesome 360 wank session. I went to my room and passed out drunk before I could dispose of the evidence. My sister walked into the vagina room before I got rid of it. She still jokingly brings that up. Over a decade later. As if that was embarrassing enough. Soon after, my father used the computer for work reasons. And had to use the printer. There was one gigantic bag left in the printer queue. Edit. Thanks for the silver and gold. Not entirely sure I'm proud of it. But super thankful either way. I've posted this before but deleted it. But I grew up in a very conservative Christian home, so asking my mom for birth control and or condoms was not an option, so asking to get a DLDO was out of the question. So in my infinite wisdom, I improvised and would use the glass banana from this decorative bowl of glass fruit my mom kept on the dining room table. I knew how dangerous it was, but it was a risk I was willing to take. The banana luckily never broke, but it was still shameful to have to sit at the dining room table every night for dinner being reminded of my dirty little secret. Used a banana as a DLDO. It was wrapped in a condom, but I made the mistake of peeling it first, so it just turned to mush. Who's done omegle? I cut Arsiv Gina and my stuffed koala from Build-A-Bear and went to town. Well, those bears are supposed to be customized for you. FK'd a couch with my thumb up my ass. Masturbated into an empty fast food soda cup in my female friend's family's living room while having phone sex with my girlfriend on their phone. While my friend was in the other room trying to ignore what I was doing. I took 2 Ziploc bags and put warm water mixed with lotion in them. Mixed them together in the bags and put them under the mattress right on the edge. Was going to town on it and it felt amazing. Until one of the bags burst and got liquidy lotion all over my mattress. I had no idea the damage until years later because I moved out. That spot was moldy and super gross and I had no idea I was sleeping on that for years. I put my phone on vibrate, then put it next to my clit. Were you expecting a call or just very patient? I find it a bit alarming that I can relate to so many of these. I was the official PRN distributor for my middle school. This was before PRN Hub and smartphones. I was a good writer. So I would take commissions to write you and your crush self-insert erotica. If that wasn't up your alley. I had a massive binder of smut printed from the early internet. I'd staple stories into booklets and loan them out to other students based on whatever ship or budding kink they were into. Helped at least one of my friends realize he was gay. I have no idea how we never got caught. Sent nudes even though I knew my parents could read deleted texts. Would be f-king my then girlfriend, now wife, at her mom and stepdad house. I spent the night there. They let me sleep in the bed with her but told us no fooling around with each other. I was 18 or 19 at the time, she was 16. She lived with me at my mother's and father's house. Anyways, she had one of those beds that was metal, had those metal rods that needed screws at the top and bottom. Bed was loud, squeaky at FCK. Anyways, we started doing the deed. Her stepdad was at work but her mother was home sleeping. We get almost done, f-king bed fell apart. The bed was made out of aluminum and she had hardwood floors. So needless to say, when bed fell apart you heard about 20 or 30 bars falling on the floor. Her mom woke up, came in the room, I'm there on bottom at full mast while wife is on top butt ass naked in the process of getting off me. Her mom laughed and said yup, we loosen up the screws and bolts. I hid a girl's shoe in the dryer so she'd stay at my house longer. We ended up having sex. I ate all the Pringles. Took a new pack of dish sponges. And stole a glove out of the first aid kit. It's kind of fun to read the comments and then think, is the poster a male or female? I am masturbated hands-free in my math class. I wasn't actually a teenager, I was about 12. Still, I didn't get caught and I wonder how 12-year-old me had the guts to do that, and for anyone wondering how I did it. I used my thighs to add pressure to my crotch. It's a bit difficult but it works. Don't know if a guy can do it though. Edit. Your upvotes have increased my ego to the size of the sun. Thanks guys. Not me. But I just found out what my nephew did and I couldn't stop laughing. My cousin, Femel 46, was moving towns and had to stay with my sister for a few days. She went into the shared bathroom to take a shower and in the shower was a pocket PSSY flashlight thingy. She told my sister and my sister was completely embarrassed because the only other person that uses that bathroom is my nephew, 16 years old. My sister threw it away and later confronted my nephew and their conversation went like this. Sis. I found your toy in the shower. Nephew. What did you do with it? Sis. I threw that disgusting thing away. Nephew. That was expensive. You owe me a new one. I died laughing when my cousin told me this story. Can you imagine telling your mom she owes you a new pocket PSSY? SMH. I was about 17. And I was seeing this guy and we wanted to have sex. We both lived with our parents so he got a motel room that he paid for using all of his money from a recent cash job he just did. It was the cheapest one we could find and was connected to a truck stop. We had a sex marathon that night. I felt like a prostitute minus the fact I didn't get paid. I cringe every time I drive past that motel. I stuck a glass pipe in my poop box. Are you checks out? I cut a hole in a bearskin rug and FK'd that bear silly. Did you get a cub skin rug soon after? Humped a mattress and ripped my banjo. True story. Edit. Physically felt it rip followed by a ton of blood. 1/10 would not recommend. Edit 2. Over 2000 karma for ripping my penis. Jesus Christ on a bicycle. Where the hell do I even start? I once heard you could warm up a banana peel and stick your dick in it. All I did was ruin a perfectly good banana. Not the worst but the first to come to mind. My 16-year-old self rode my bike 20 miles because my GF said she'd show her PSSY and tits to me. I rode the 20 miles back with a smile on my face. That was over 50 years ago and I'd do it again. I used the handle of one of those magnetic fishing rod toys as a DLDO. My ass hurt a lot. Catch anything? So far the worst thing I've done is fist myself so hard I bled a little. Apt username. I would always put my clit under the bath water coming from the faucet because of the pressure. Edit. Whoa, this blew up. Thanks for the likes. This is a pretty common way to tickle the bean. My girlfriend, at the time, and I getting caught by mall cops just as she was about to go down. Lost my virginity in a parking lot that we found empty and secluded. It was a Saturday night and we had parked a few spaces apart but slept in the same car. Turned out to be a church parking lot. Woke up Sunday morning to tapping on the window and had the walk of shame through a small crowd in just my shorts. Funny now. Not so much then. I shoved a hairbrush up my ass. And on another day I jacked off in a cornfield. Pretty sure I broke one of my brother's HEXBUGs. I was at my tutor's home at the table and I started jerking off to some pictures in my mind. And sometimes I would go to her bathroom and beat it. Edit. Probably taking my hairbrush and shoving it up my vagina in my family's communal bathroom on a fairly regular basis. To say the least. I could have literally opened a door and looked into my parents' room. Most of my time was spent muffling myself. That. And using shaving cream and shampoo as lube. Separate occasions. Multiple times because I liked the slight burn it gave me. Edit. So apparently my most upvoted comment is about me shoving shaving cream up my nope tunnel. Fun times. I masturbated in the bathroom of the Louvre because I thought it would be a once in a lifetime opportunity. I once had a house party with my parents out of town. I got dared by the girls to FCK the eye socket of the human skull my dad has in his study. And that if I did there would be a reward. You can bet your ass sculfked that skull. And the reward was my first blowjob. So all in all an absolute win. Fingered my GF while we were in a room with our friends. We had it covered up and nobody noticed but I was so nervous the entire time. They noticed. During high school. Bake out and fool around with my ex in the back of his parents' car while they would drive us home. I would wear low-cut shirts or deliberately avoid wearing an undershirt to allow easier access to my breasts. Even made him come while we were coming back from Florida and had to hurry inside a visitor center to wipe off my shirt and wash my hands. We also fooled around in my bed at my house with the door open and my stepsister in the room. We would stop or put a blanket over us if we heard footsteps. Also had, not so great, SX in our room at Disney World and in his car in a parking lot across from my church. Holy FCK, I just remembered I FK'd my GF in a bed next to her parents in a hotel room while they slept. After I got my wisdom teeth out I was given a water syringe with a long thin tip to blast any bits of food out of the holes in my mouth. In the shower I would fill it up with water and blast it down my dick just because it felt cool. About a month later it started hurting when I peed and it would smell like salami and old Cheerios. Turns out I gave myself a urinary tract infection. It went away after I drank enough cranberry juice though. Bought my brother a fleshlight as a gag gift for Christmas. Ended up using it myself on Christmas Eve. When I was younger, I discovered that vibrate why things felt pretty darn good. Of course being young I was limited to various vibrating household objects. This led to a lot of my first masturbation sessions using my stepbrother's electric razor. The worst part is that he found out and probably knew for a while. As I would use it in the bathroom which we shared and was exactly a beater from his room. But one day he accidentally opened the door. On the toilet. Buzzing razor in hand. We never exchanged words about it after that point. I spent when I was in the early teens jerking off like 6-7 times back to back to just Gone Wild infomercials instead of going out. Where do I begin? I put a hot dog in a sandwich bag and went to town. To get a bun and mustard? Jerked off to a diagram of a woman. A diagram. I walked 16 miles to a girl's house to spend the weekend smashing without any parents around. She made moose steaks. Had some pot. And knew volumes more about SX than I had ever known. It still stands as a top 3 life moments after 40 years. My brother owed me $60 and offered me weed because at the time he was a drug dealer. But begged him to take me to a girl's house instead of paying me back. Ended up losing my virginity that day. I shoved a Sharpie up my ass. I may or may not have made a Lego DLDO to shove up my vagina. I used to steal screwdrivers just to FCK them from my school's workshops. Good times. They never seemed to notice and I still own a few of them. Why does this not have a NSFW tag? Well it should, it's kinda expected with a title. Not me but so many people got fingered on the band bus. On my alt account for this. I fingered my GF in the back of my class then got suspended for it BC her friend told her dad, who wanted to press charges but knew my GF would get in trouble too. about it and got suspended for 2 weeks, and so did she, and when we got back she broke up with me for saying something along the lines of, "I'm not saying you shouldn't be friends with her. That's your call, but that's kind of a shitty thing to do to your friend," and she broke up with me for it. A couple days later we got back together, then after a while I moved to Florida and I broke up with her. Still a horny teen.